Welcome back, guys. So a couple of videos back, I did one showed you guys some of the upgrades and updates I was doing to my rifles and changes I was considering making, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. So I thought I'd give you an update on the updates. Say that one fast. So just to recap, in case anybody didn't go back and watch that video, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my primary 16-inch rifle, my backup rifle, etc. And my primary rifle, I had a Primary Arms 3X Prism scope on. My backup gun, I had an Aimpoint Pro on. But I had a new Primary Arms ACSS Raptor scope, 1:6, that I really wanted to put on my primary, and I was just trying to figure out how I wanted to balance all that out, because they also have a group project that my friends and family and I are working on that we're trying to figure out how we wanted to do. So there was some internal debate, juggling and rotating, trying to figure out what route's the best route to go. So what I ended up doing is what I wanted to show you guys today. My primary rifle, I went ahead and changed and put the ACSS Raptor on. I had to wait and change out the handguard because with that particular scope I didn't want to deal with the front sight, which I normally am a fan of. But that kind of will segue into another part of this video. So if you haven't already, you know you need to go ahead and get it. You know you need to go ahead and get comfortable so we can have us a chat. And yes, G, that means you. He'll know who he is. Anyway, so I inadvertently accomplished something that I wasn't even thinking about. What I did was got rid of a few things. I sold the Aimpoint Pro that I had on my backup rifle. And I love my boys. In going over some stuff, you know, my oldest son was come in and was looking at things, and long story short, after some discussion, we ended up taking my backup rifle that I sold the Aimpoint Pro off of, and I was going to sell that gun because I needed the money for some of the other stuff I want to do. And unfortunately, I usually have to sell something to get something. It just takes me a while to do it because I tend to be fairly slow and methodical on what I'm doing. I don't like to just make snap decisions unless it's appropriate to make a snap decision. But in the course of pondering it over and talking with my son, leave it to him to come up with the brilliant idea that I never thought of. I really didn't want to sell my backup gun because the upper on it is a 2012 era Palmetto State Armory mid-weight profiled 16-inch mid-length gas barrel. I haven't seen them make those barrels in a while, but their mid-weight profile that they made back then, they're not a pencil barrel, a true lightweight barrel, but they're not a government profile either. They're a really nice balanced barrel. They're the same diameter all the way from beginning to end, but they're not overly thick, not overly thin. Like I say, it's a good balance in there on the weight. I really like them. Haven't seen them in forever, can't get another one. Didn't want to sell it. Well, my oldest son was like, why don't you sell the upper off of my gun and put that upper on, put the other mid-length on mine? And I'm kind of flabbergasted, and I had to stop and think for a minute and listen to what he was saying, and then all of a sudden the lights went off and the angels started singing and the bells started ringing. Suddenly it made total sense. His gun was a 16-inch carbine length gas Palmetto State Armory M4 upper, which he liked. It was great. It ran great for us. But he really liked that other gun too. So he said, well, here, take my upper and sell it and just give me that one, and then we'll both basically have the same upper. We'll keep everything mid-length gas, yada, yada, yada. Made perfect sense. So if anybody's looking for a good 16-inch M4 chrome line Palmetto State Armory upper, complete upper, I'm selling that one. So message me, email me, whatever. I'll give you the deal on it. So we took my backup and made it his primary. So now he's got real similar to what mine is. What we did on mine after we sold the aim point already was I picked up a Midwest Industries 13.6-inch SLH handguard. This gun was already free floated with a Daniel Defense Omega rail on it, but I wanted to get rid of the front sight and I wanted to try to make the gun a little lighter. And believe it or not, by changing out the 3X, changing out the handguard to this configuration, which is the Primary Arms Raptor and an ADM mount with the Midwest Industries SLH handguard, it is significantly lighter, like noticeably, and the balance changed. The weight, instead of being about right here, is now back here, almost right over the trigger. All I did was cut down the front sight, make it a low profile gas block. No fanciness there. And then put the handguard on, put some Magpul covers on there. I really like these. They give a good purchase and they're low profile. They don't change the size of the gun much. Now I've got this 1-to-6 on here, and you'll notice something missing. I don't have any backup iron sights on here. Why? Well, I think I'm going to do a separate video on that because I don't want to make this one overly long. It's going to be long already. But look next after this one we'll talk about no backup iron sights. Anyway, this is now my primary 16-inch gun. I'm going to take it out and, well, I say it's my primary gun. It still is, but I've got to get it zeroed and all that. So right now I'm relying on my others. I hope to do that this coming weekend, and I'll give you guys some video. We'll do a zero video and everything on this because I really want to talk about the scope a little bit more as we do that one. But that all said, this gun just feels really good now. I really like the versatility that this 1-to-6 gives me, and I guess I did this subconsciously because I really wasn't even thinking about when I did it. But now my 16-inch gun is a very close facsimile of my pistol. It's got the same handguard on it, albeit this one's shorter. I've got my primary arm Cyclops on here. So I've got ACSS reticles on both of them. The handguards are the same, so they feel the same, etc. I may put some of the Magpul covers on here. I've got the rubber ones on here now, but I almost think I like the other ones a little bit better, so I may add those to this one. But they're very similar, so when you pick it up and hold it, they both feel real similar, which I like. I like that familiarity from a mental standpoint, that my brain just kind of knows what to do regardless of which one I've got in my hands. So that's what I did there. We swapped everything over on my son's gun, so he's got that set up, and that really gives me, I feel like, a good comfortable setup. I've got my primary, I've got my pistol, and I've got the DMR gun, so I'm fairly well set, as far as all the different things I could possibly need to cover. I can use my pistol or the DMR as a backup to this should it go down, especially since I've got that 1 to 8 variable ACSS on the DMR, because it gives me that similar familiarity. I like the 8 power on that one for the DMR to reach out a little bit more. But yeah, I can run it all. There's familiarity. They're real, not carbon copies of each other, but real similar from gun to gun, but different enough to be able to accomplish different tasks. So that's kind of the update that I wanted to give you guys. I'll hope to get out to the range this coming weekend, and we'll get some range video done, get them zeroed, and we'll talk about some more stuff, running through a few drills and whatnot, and that route. But again, as I've said ad nauseum, and I'll keep saying it because there are those that don't believe it, the primary arms stuff, guys, for me, that's where I think you need to be putting your money for optics. For the armed prepared citizen, that's just where it's at. I mean, if you've got the extra money to, say, go higher, do it. But I guess my bigger point is, if you're on a budget like probably 90+% of us are, don't feel like, and don't let anybody tell you that you're subpar or you're limiting yourself, or that you can't rely on a lower priced optic like primary arms and not stake your life on it, because they're mistaken. Again, just my opinion and my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth or what it's not worth. Could go either way. So again, I'm really happy with this setup. So far, just running dry drills, this gun just handles great, even better than it did before. Not a whole lot to say other than, guys, again, if you're looking for a free float handguard, you got 3 good options here, and I'll close out on this because I could ramble on this forever. We're at a point where getting yourself either first-timer setup or experienced guys wanting to fine-tune and improve your setup, when you've got companies, and I preach them all the time, there's a reason why, Palmetto State Armory, Primary Arms, Midwest Industries, you can set up really good, highly capable, durable, trustworthy weapons, and you don't have to break the bank doing it. I mean, these Midwest Industries rails, in my opinion, are probably some of the best out there. If not, in my humble opinion, the best. And I say the best because of a combination of things. The quality of manufacture, the design of it, combined all with the price point. There's a lot of free float, rails out there, but not many of them are at the same price point that Midwest Industries ones are. And then when you combine in what all you're getting for the money, man, you can do this and not break the bank. It's really amazing. So just keep that in mind, guys. And that's probably one of my biggest things when I'm talking to you guys about my guns and how I'm setting them up and little changes I'm making. Because I went so many years listening to people tell me that if I didn't spend $2,000 on a rifle, and all of it set up, that I was going to die the first time I used it. It wasn't going to work. It was going to be a piece of junk, yada yada. And that's not the case. You don't have to be intimidated by people that have their really expensive Range Queen rifles. You can get functional stuff that you can take out and actually train with and shoot with and get better with and be prepared with, and you don't have to spend an exorbitant amount of money. So that's what I'm all about when I talk about these. I'm trying to relay that to you guys that may not know, because there's so much out there to the contrary. It's not saying that the more expensive stuff isn't good. It by all means generally is, but it doesn't mean that that's what you have to be well prepared. So, I'm going to drink some more of this. We'll do a couple more videos, but for those of you that don't want to sit through all the other talk, we'll close this one out here. You guys take care, and we'll see you in another one.